Kazi Farhana with your headlines. BNP aims to rebuild country with public support. The Tariq Rahman party wants to strengthen the economy and democracy. Bangladesh fate in doubt by dishonest leadership, says Dr. Shofikur. Country's outlook will change in 5 years if Jamaat voted to power. Questions loom over referendum legitimacy once CPD weaknesses in existing framework and related ordinances. Now in details. BNP chairperson Tariq Rahman said his party wanted to strengthen the country's economy and democracy to ensure a secure future for its citizens. He also urged voters to back the BNP's election symbol, the shape of paddy, saying the party sought to rebuild the country with public support and work towards a Bangladesh that meets people's aspirations. At the same time, the BNP chief stressed that people should be judged by merit rather than religion. Besides, he has promised to make Thakurgaon Airport operational swiftly if his party forms the next government. Speaking at an election rally today, Tariq also said work on the airport was already at an advanced stage and could be completed soon after the February 12 election. Earlier on Friday, while speaking with Reuters, Tariq Rahman said his BNP would not form an unity government if it comes to power after the national election. He also said BNP is confident that it can win enough seats to govern on its own. Rahman's key challenger in the February 12 vote is Jamaat Islami. The two parties previously governed together between 2001 and 2006, and Jamaat has signaled it is open to reviving the alliances to stabilize the country, still recovering from months of political and economic turmoil. However, Rahman dismissed the idea, questioning how he could share power with his political opponents. Instead, he said he hopes Jamaat may play the role of a good opposition. Rahman declined to cite a target but insisted the party will have enough support to form a government. Bangladesh Jamaat Islami Army Dr. Shofikur Rahman today said a nation blessed with fertile lands and abundant resources had failed to provide its people with the prosperity and justice they deserved, primarily due to corrupt leadership. He made these remarks while addressing an election rally at Hobbyganj New Field Grounds this morning. He also said, despite some positive actions in the time, the country's true potential remained largely untapped and lamented that the dreams of the country's freedom fighters had not been realized. In a broader reflection on the state of the nation, Dr. Rahman spoke about the values that the independence struggle was supposed to ensure for all citizens. Dr. Rahman also addressed the growing divisions within the nation, emphasizing the importance of religious harmony. Islam does not support any form of extremism or aggression towards others. It is haram to mistreat anyone based on their religion, he said. He vowed that under Jamaat Islam's leadership, the country would work towards preserving and enhancing this religious unity. Further expressing concern about the security situation in Bangladesh, Dr. Rahman said that many mothers, workers and ordinary citizens were not safe in their homes or workplaces. NCP leader Hasnat Abdullah on Saturday accused BNP of pursuing double standards in politics, saying the party's leaders and activists are taking contradictory positions ahead of the election. Addressing an election street rally of the 11-party alliances at Bhairab Chattor in Jashore, Hasnat alleged that while BNP leaders speak in favor of one stance, their activists campaign for the opposite. This is BNP's dual politics, he said. He also criticized alleged extortion and tender manipulation by rival groups and urged voters to unite for what he described as a justice-based political alternative. Criticizing the role of the admiration, Hasnat alleged attempts to misuse the police in a partisan manner similar to past elections. Addressing law enforcers, he said their uniform symbolizes public trust and urged them to remain accountable to their conscience on the people, not to any political party. He further warned against what he described as another state election and called on voters to guard polling centers until results are announced on February 12. This election is about freeing the country from authoritarianism and rebuilding the state, he said. The Center for Policy Dialogue was warned that the credibility of the upcoming referendum could be questioned due to weaknesses in the existing framework and related ordinances. CPD Director Khandakar Ghulam Muazzem made the remarks today during a media briefing held at the Bragg Center in Mohakhali, Dhaka, titled Green Society in Electoral Areas, Candidate and Voter Survey Findings. He said that the 13th National Parliamentary Election and the referendum are scheduled to be held together on February 12. During this period, candidates are busy with election campaigns, presenting various promises to voters through their manifestos. However, from a practical perspective, the national election cannot be considered fully inclusive to the extent that it should be. Ghulam Muazzem further noted that due to the limitations in the structure of the referendum and the related ordinances, questions regarding the credibility of the referendum results may arise. Regarding the analysis of election manifestos, he said that ahead of elections, CPD and other think tanks typically conduct in-depth and analytical discussions on political parties' manifestos. A total of 4,22,960 postal ballots from expatriates registered on the Postal Vote BIDE app have reached Bangladesh ahead of the upcoming 13th National Parliamentary Election and referendum. Salim Ahmed Khan, team leader of the OCV's DI project on expatriate voter registration, confirmed it this morning, saying that 7,66,862 ballots have been dispatched to expatriates through the app till 10:15 am. The Election Commission has also begun sending postal ballots to voters residing inside the country under the ICPEV system. Ballots have been sent to 6,94,146 registered voters within Bangladesh. Viewers are taking a short break. Stay with us.
সারা দেশে লাখো মানুষের কঠোর কর্মতৎপরতা ও নিষ্ঠায় এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস এখন 16 কোটি মানুষের হাতের নাগালে। দীর্ঘ 30 বছর ধরে বিশ্বস্ততা ও দ্রুততার সাথে সেবা দেওয়ায় গ্রাহক সেবায় এখন শীর্ষে। বাংলাদেশে গ্রাহক সেবার সাফল্যের পর এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস এখন বিশ্ব বাণিজ্য কেন্দ্র সিঙ্গাপুরে। আপনার যে কোনো পণ্য সিঙ্গাপুর থেকে বাংলাদেশে বুকিং এর জন্য যোগাযোগ করুন। এসএ পরিবহন প্রাইভেট লিমিটেড, লজিস্টিক্স পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস, 22 রবার্টস লেন, সিঙ্গাপুর 218302। ফোন 0065 629 24900। বাংলাদেশ থেকে সিঙ্গাপুরে পণ্য বুকিং এর জন্য যোগাযোগ করুন ঢাকা সহ দেশের যে কোনো 80টি শাখা কেন্দ্রে। এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস, আপনার সেবা সব সময়।
Welcome, Grand Palace Hotel, Dhaka. A majestic lobby blending timeless elegance with modern design. Experience 5-star comfort in suites and rooms. Sophisticated fine dining restaurant.
Welcome back to watching SATV News. News from abroad. Nuclear talks between Iran and the United States held in Oman on Friday were a good beginning and will continue, said Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi. The continuation of the negotiations is conditional on negotiators holding consulations on their capitals and deciding how to proceed with the talks, he added. Officials from both sides who held indirect talks through Omani meditation in Oman's capital Muscat will return home for the consolations, Arakchi said. While both sides have indicated readiness to revive diplomacy over Tehran's long-running nuclear dispute with the West, Washington wanted to expand the talks to cover Iran's ballistic missiles, support for armed groups around the region, and treatment of their own people. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Wednesday. U.S. President Donald Trump said on Friday very good talks were ongoing regarding Russia's war in Ukraine, and he added, without deliberating, that something could be happening as a result of the negotiations. Trump made these remarks while speaking to Air Force One on the way to Palm Beach International Airport as he traveled to Mar-a-Lago for a weekend. The Republican leader had vowed to end the war that began with a full-scale Russian invasion of the Ukraine in February 2022, but more than a year into his second term, Trump's promises has remained unfulfilled. According to sources, U.S. and Ukrainian negotiators have discussed an ambitious March goal for Russia and Ukraine to agree on a peace deal, though that timeline is likely to slip given a lack of agreement on the key issue of the territory. Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff said on Thursday that delegations from the U.S., Ukraine and Russia had agreed to an exchange of 314 prisoners of war. Protesters marched through downtown Minneapolis on Friday to denounce the presence of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement in the state, carrying signs reading "Abolish ICE" and chanting "Immigrants are welcome here." Minnesota residents who joined the march said the enforcement activity was rippling through the neighborhoods and local businesses. On Wednesday, the Trump administration is withdrawing some 700 federal immigration enforcement agents from Minnesota, although about 20,000 agents will stay in place. White House Board-Czar Tom Homan announced a number the state's Democratic leaders say is still too high. In an unprecedented charge, Donald Trump has deployed thousands of armed immigration enforcement agents in and around Minneapolis this year to detain and deport migrants, resulting in weeks of voting with the state's elected leaders, angry and sometimes violent confrontations with residents and street protests across the nation. The U.S. has arrested a person suspected of playing a central role in the 2012 attack on the consulate in Benghazi, Libya, said U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi on Friday. Bondi said Zubair al-Bakkouch has been extradited to the United States and will face murder, arson, and terrorism-related charges. 4 U.S. personnel were killed in the September 11, 2012 incident, which was initially thought to be a spontaneous reaction to protest but was later identified as a deliberate attack carried out by extremists, some of whom were linked to groups affiliated with Al-Qaeda. Al-Bakkouch is the third person to face criminal charges stemming from the attack. 2 others, Ahmed Abu Khatallah and Mustafa al-Imam, are serving lengthy prison terms, while another suspect, Ali Auni al-Harzi, was killed in an airstrike in Iraq in 2015. Bakkouch faces an 8-count indictment that includes charges of murder, attempted murder, arson, and conspiracy to support terrorists, said Gianni Pirro, the top U.S. prosecutor in the District of Columbia.
Josh and Dan would sit in meetings and say, "We're going to get them," and they did.
The United States accused Beijing on Friday of conducting a secret nuclear test in 2020 as it called for a new broader arms control treaty that would bring in China as well as Russia. The accusations at a global disarmament conference highlighted serious tensions between Washington and Beijing at a pivotal moment in nuclear arms control, a day after the treaty limiting U.S. and Russian missile and warhead deployments expired. U.S. government is aware that China has conducted nuclear explosion tests, including preparing for a test with designated yields in the hundreds of tons. U.S. Undersecretary of State for Arms Control and International Security, Thomas DiNanno, told a disarmament conference in Geneva. The Chinese military sought to conceal testing by outbursts focusing the nuclear explosions because it recognized this test violates test ban commitments. China has used decoupling, a method to decrease the effectiveness of seismic monitoring to hide their activities from the world, he said. The nano said China had conducted one such yield-producing test on June 22, 2020. China's ambassador on disarmament, Shen Jian, did not directly address the nano's charge, but said Beijing had always acted prudently and responsibly on nuclear issues. He instead blamed the US for the aggravation of the arms race. Security was tightened in Islamabad on Saturday morning, a day after gunmen opened fire and detonated a suicide bomb at a Shiite mosque, marking the capital's deadliest attack in over a decade. Armed security personnel were seen on the rooftop of the mosque that was attacked.
Clear swimming pool for ultimate relaxation. Modern gym and serene spa for well-being. Perfect venue for corporate events, weddings and parties. Seamless and secured. Elegant and eye-catching design. Indulge, relax, discover the first 5-star chain hotels in Bangladesh. Grand Palace Hotel Dhaka, 22 Kakrail, Dhaka, Bangladesh.
Critical minerals agreement signed between Argentina and the United States does not exclude Chinese investment in the country's mining sector. Speaking at a press conference in Buenos Aires alongside Cabinet Chief Manuel Adoni, Quino emphasized that China already has mineral investments in Argentina and can continue participating in the sector. The agreement announced after a Washington meeting of more than 50 countries where U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance proposed a critical minerals trading bloc commits Argentina to prioritizing the United States as a trading partner for copper, lithium and other critical minerals over market manipulating economies, according to officials. Quino said the deal provides greater predictability for American companies already the leading investors in Argentina to increase their investments. The foreign minister also stated that Argentina is seeking increased flexibility within the Mercosur trade bloc, which includes Brazil, Paraguay and Uruguay, adding that bilateral agreements like this one with the United States are permitted under Mercosur rules. The president of Venezuela's National Assembly, Jorge Rodriguez, announced on Friday that hundreds of prisoners jailed for political protesters or criticism of public figures could be freed as early as next Tuesday following the final approval of a new amnesty law. Rodriguez, is speaking outside a detention center in Caracas, told families of detainees that the law had already passed its first vote and would receive final approval on Tuesday, with releases beginning immediately. The amnesty bill, which passed unanimously in the socialist-controlled National Assembly, is expected to lead to the release of the hundreds of people, according to Rodriguez. The move could ease tensions with the international community, particularly the Trump administration, which has welcomed previous prisoner releases. Venezuela's government has long denied holding political prisoners, insisting that those jailed have committed crimes. However, opposition groups and human rights organizations have accused authorities of using arbitrary detentions to suppress dissent among politicians, security personnel, journalists and activists. Before ending, we go through the headlines again. BNP aims to rebuild country with public supporters. Tariq Rahman party wants to strengthen economy and democracy. Bangladesh fate hindered by dishonest leadership, says Dr. Shafiqur. Country's outlook will change in 5 years if Jamaat voted to power. Questions loom over referendum legitimacy once CPD weaknesses an existing framework and related ordinances. You're updated with our top stories so far here on SATV, and to know the latest news, visit www.satv.tv. Stay with SATV.